Okay. Shadow of the Eagle series. Yeah, it is well, it's La Sombra del Águila. It is a Spanish war game designed by Jose Vargas Zuniga. And I guess Vargas Zuniga and a couple of others, but I do think that that's the main designer. Yeah, okay. Lots of great wargaming to be had here. Really good stuff. Okay, but I want to talk here about stuff going on behind the scenes, details, elaboration. First of all, I don't want there to be any. I don't want to convey that this is a, highly polished game with no issues, no problems. That's not the case. Okay, so what do I mean by that? First of all, the first thing to face is that right in front of me I have the English translation of the series rules that came with Bailen 1808. I've got the Spanish version of those same rules, because sometimes I am going back to the original Spanish to see if there are discrepancies, which I have found. I have the Spanish rules for yeah, that came with this one that's shown here on the screen. This is a 3-battle set with series rules. Shadow of the Eagle, yeah, series rules, and then I have the Spanish rules for Medellin. Oh, that's where it's. Yeah. Okay, and then I have English translation pulled off the internet. I'm going to call this these English language rules were translated from the original Spanish for Paper Wars. So I'm going to call this the Paper Wars version. And I'm looking at how each one handles orders. If a unit moves, it must not end its move more than 3 hexes away from an enemy unit. Alright, there's that. And then finally there's the English translation of the rules that came with these. Understand what translated from here. Okay, they call this the Paper Wars version as well. Alright. If a unit moves, it must not end its move more than 3. Okay. Yeah, so I've had the experience of having to compare 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 different versions of the rules. Now, yes, that's 3 English, 3 Spanish. Okay. I have found discrepancies that look like they're of 2 sorts. One, I've seen discrepancies that look like simple translation errors, and then I've also seen discrepancies that look like evolution of the rules. Anyways, I have to say categorically here, not really a big problem. I think that, well, in my case, when I've come across these discrepancies, I've gone with what I believe is probably the most evolved intent of the designer, and it all works. It all works. But I do want to point that out, because and I should say here that if the series had continued, which I really wish that it had, I'm sure the rules would have continued to evolve and settled. Actually, the Bailen rules are they are better and more cleaned up and make more sense. Anyways, the other problem is vagueness. So again, this is something I just encountered recently. In the rules it says, okay, all units facing can be changed without penalty before movement. So I take that to mean before you actually leave your first hex, you can do any type of facing change for free. Then it says during movement, each change of facing costs 1 movement point. That could be, no, I'm not even going to say that that's, well, no, actually it is vague, but to not be so harsh, I'll say that could stand with some clarification. So do they mean each, so, well, I guess what it comes down to, what's the definition of a change of facing? Is a change of facing moving from one hex corner to one, to an adjacent hex corner? Or do you mean a change of facing is any change of facing, i.e. any number of hex corners? I'm going with that interpretation, by the way. But that's where the rules could be clarified. So back to the, so here's a good example, I think, of the type where there's the translation issue. So under both harassment and attack orders, all counters associated with the with this order, harassment or attack, must move to at least 3 hexes of enemy units. That, of course, at least 3 means at least 3. That means they cannot... Oh, well, okay, let me back up. To strictly interpret that would make it seem like you can't move to 2 or 1 hex away from the enemy, which of course means you could never go and enter into close combat, which of course doesn't make sense. But then when I went to so that's from the Bailén English rules. When I went to the Spanish Bailén rules, I got a different interpretation from the language. 3 or less. See, it has the language 3 or less hexes from an enemy, which of course makes a lot more sense. Of course, it's 3 or less. You have to move to 3 or less. What it means is you need to move within proximity of the enemy, and I think that can make, I'm thinking, and that's what I really want to see here with Alcaniz, which is the battle I'm playing right now. I want to see this in action. I think that's going to have, because orders changes are not automatic in all cases, I want to see, because having to move to within, you can also say within 3 hexes. Spanish says 3 or less, okay, but it's certainly not to at least 3 hexes. Which, now that I think about it, I can see how move to at least 3 hexes would be I don't know, call it maybe a tricky interpretation. Anyways, really enjoying this. I don't know why I'm enjoying this. I don't know, is it the scale and the scope? I don't know. It's just really enjoyable. It's enjoyable, for the mind. It's enjoyable, very nice to play, take a break, come back, pick up again. Very easy to solo, play both sides. Just a real success for me here that I discovered this, which was completely by luck. This was not a planned discovery at all.